Hey everyone! So imagine this. You travel hundreds, maybe even thousands of miles to see your god, and when you finally get there you're told, sorry, they're unavailable. Sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're diving into the story of the Alarnath Temple, a sacred place that was born from exactly that kind of spiritual puzzle. It's an incredible story about how faith always finds a way.
Yeah, it sounds like a spiritual paradox, doesn't it? But believe it or not, every single year at the famous Jagannath Temple in Puri, one of India's most holy sites, this is exactly what happens. And this is where our whole story really kicks off.
So the big question is, how on earth does a god become unavailable? Well, the answer is tucked away in this really fascinating and totally unique tradition, one that's super important to the Jagannath cult. Okay, so this period is called Anavasara, and it basically means no chance to see the Lord. The belief is that after a big, grand ritual bath, Lord Jagannath actually gets sick. He catches a fever, so he has to go into a secret chamber to rest and recover. Now, just think about that for a second. For the thousands and thousands of devotees who've traveled, maybe their whole lives for this moment, it creates this huge spiritual crisis.
So what do you do when the very deity you've come all this way to see it is in seclusion? Well, the answer to that question, as it turns out, comes from the incredible journey of one of the most beloved saints in all of history.
Let me introduce you to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're talking about a 16th century mystic whose entire life, his whole world, just revolved around Puri and Lord Jagannath. I mean, his devotion was the stuff of legends. For him, the idea of being separated from his Lord, it was just unthinkable, absolutely unbearable. So you can imagine, during one of these Anavasara periods, Chaitanya was completely heartbroken. But the legend goes that Lord Jagannath himself actually guided him. He directed him to go on a 25-kilometer journey to this town called Brahmagiri, and when he got there, standing in front of a completely different deity, he was just overcome with this divine ecstasy. It was this incredible aha moment. He realized he hadn't lost his Lord at all. He just found him in a new form.
And that journey, that discovery, well, it brings us right to the heart of our story today, the Alarnath Temple, the sacred destination of Chaitanya's quest.
Okay, so this is really the core belief that drives this whole pilgrimage. For devotees, Lord Jagannath doesn't just disappear during Anavasara. No, he simply manifests in a different form as Lord Alarnath. And that's such a powerful idea, right? That the divine isn't just stuck in one statue, but it can be accessible somewhere else, ready to answer the call of that incredible, unwavering faith.
Now, the form of the deity here is super significant. Lord Alarnath is this majestic, four-armed form of Vishnu, and he's holding his classic attributes, the conch, the discus, the mace, and the lotus. These aren't just random items, they're really powerful symbols of his cosmic job as the preserver of the universe. So for pilgrims, seeing this offers this amazing sense of stability and reassurance.
And, this temple has some seriously deep historical roots. It's not a new place by any means. It's believed to have been established way back, centuries ago, by rulers from Alwar in Rajasthan. But it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's famous visit in the 16th century that was the moment that really cemented its role forever as the sacred refuge for Jagannath's devotees during Anavasara. There's a quote from Incredible India that I think just perfectly captures the feeling of this temple. It says, "A divine whisper beyond the waves." I mean, how beautiful is that? It really speaks to this serene, peaceful vibe that's a whole world away from the crazy, bustling energy of Puri. It offers a totally different, more intimate kind of spiritual comfort.
So it's really important to remember that this isn't just some old story from a history book. Nope, it's a vibrant, living tradition that happens with so much devotion every single year. For those 15 days of Anavasara, the town of Brahmagiri, which is normally pretty quiet, completely transforms. It becomes this buzzing spiritual hub, just electric with the energy of thousands upon thousands of pilgrims, all following in Chaitanya's footsteps, all looking for that exact same divine connection.
And this tradition really engages all the senses, especially taste. There's a special offering of Kheer, which is this delicious sweet rice pudding that's made for the Lord. And for the pilgrims, getting to have a taste of this sacred food, this prasad, is a huge highlight of their whole journey. It's like a tangible, edible blessing. Okay, so if this story has got you feeling inspired and maybe you're thinking, hey, I'd like to make that journey myself, then let's get into some of the practical info you're going to need.
All right, timings. The temple gates open up nice and early at 6 in the morning for prayers,
and they close at 9:30 p.m. So that gives you a whole day for prayer, some quiet contemplation, and just soaking it all in.
So how do you actually get there? Well, it's pretty straightforward, actually. Whether you're coming by plane, train, or bus, your main hub is going to be Puri. And from there, it's just a short 22-kilometer trip. It's super accessible from the main temple town.
So, when you really think about it, the Alarnath Temple is so much more than just a building, right? It's really a spiritual solution. It's a beacon of comfort for devotees, and it's living proof that faith will always find a way. It connects pilgrims today directly to this incredible, centuries-old story of devotion.
And the story of Alarnath really leaves us with a powerful question to think about, doesn't it? What does it tell us about the nature of faith itself when it can so beautifully and so creatively carve out a new path just to make sure that a connection to the divine is never, ever lost? Something to ponder. Thanks so much for joining me for this one.